Now let's take a deeper look at intra-party rivalry and the consequences of all this. Joining me from Abuja is a political analyst, Mr. Jide Joe. Thanks a lot for joining us on the News at 10.
Thanks for having me. My name is Jide Ojo.
Jide Ojo, apologies for that. Now, let me just start off from the demolition of the secretariat of one of the factions of the APC. What was your reaction to that, to what happened in Kaduna State?
Well, in my own estimation, that's executive rascality, executive lawlessness. Yeah, and it's a curtain raiser to many other things that will happen in the lead up to 2019 general election. It's quite unfortunate because this party secretariat was just opened last Thursday, and barely 3-4 days after, you found one reason or the other to pull it down. As he said, you know, the law is for your enemy, the exemption is for your friends. They just realized now that Senator Nkui has not been paying ground rent since 2010. This is 2018. Why didn't they discover that much earlier, before the face-off between his camp, the restoration camp, and that of the governor of the state? And I think it's laying the bad precedent ahead of 2019 elections.
Well, does that take away, I mean, if you say that that's how you see it, does that take away the fact that they were not paying that rent? If it's found that indeed they weren't, does that still make the timing difficult for you? And is it really political intolerance?
Of course, the issue is this. If somebody is not paying ground rent, and you said abuse of property, that it was meant for residential, is not being turned to political office, is demolition the next thing to do? How many months or weeks of eviction notice was served on the owner of the property? Could he not have been asked to pay his ground rent up to date? Otherwise, he stands to forfeit. Is demolition even the way out? I think it's marks of politics, in my own estimation, and I think it's marks of political intolerance on the part of the state executive in Kaduna State.
But let's look at the bigger picture now. All this is happening in the middle of reconciliation efforts by the leadership of the party. What will you say to those who are already saying that this throws a spanner in the works of such reconciliation efforts by the party leadership?
Well, the insinuation from the camp of the governor in Kaduna State is that the restoration group, the Akida and restoration group that opened the new office last week, was actually using that as a bargaining chip before the reconciliation committee set up by the president. I really don't know how that works. I'm not a politician, but I think it's just making the work of Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu much more difficult, because if people are embroiled in a dogfight over issue of succession or 2019 election, at this very point in time, properties are being destroyed, all in the name of non-payment of some charges. And even at the dawn of night, I mean, if you want to demolish property, should you do that 3:30, 4 a.m.? Couldn't you have done that when everybody is awake and we can see what you're doing? The bottom line is that, as I've said earlier on, it makes the work of the Reconciliation Committee a lot more difficult. And like you said in your report, it's not even in Kaduna State alone. We have similar scenario happening in Kogi, in Zamfara, in Rivers State. Yeah,
but that was the whole idea of this Reconciliation Committee to go. Others. Yes, what I'm trying to say is that was the whole idea of the Reconciliation Committee, for them to go around and see the members who are aggrieved and try to resolve that. But even if we step away from that and look at the crisis that happened in the PDP, though they're trying to resolve theirs, just for a second, say they're unable to heal their old and now fresh wounds within the APC. What do you think that spells for 2019 with the PDP the way they are and with what's transpiring now in the ranks of the APC?
First and foremost, we must establish that conflict is part of politics. I mean, you can't have multitudes without some measure of conflict. It's just not to escalate to violence. And the way it is, you know, it has to be mitigated, and which is the whole essence of setting up a reconciliation committee, both in APC and in PDP. What needs to be done is political will and genuineness of intention to reconcile the aggrieved parties. Of course, I mean, even if they spend the next 1 year trying to reconcile, there will be those who will still dig in, who will still not agree with the terms and conditions of the reconciliation committee. But the parties are just trying to mend fences to make sure that they cut their loss. They don't experience mass decampment ahead of 2019 general elections. Recall that, you know, initially when this happened in PDP, 2014, 2015, they were calling the bluff of those who were aggrieved and said that they are spent forces, they are useless, they can go. But today, they have known better that you can't be losing your members and think you can still win elections. So it's a lessons learned, and I wish them all the best.
All right.
I hope that the reconciliation committees that have been set up both in PDP and APC will be able to succeed for the sake of decency, right, for the sake of peaceful election in 2019, because we can't be losing lives, we can't be losing property, all in the name of election. It's not like that in many other Senate climes.
All right. Thank you so much, political analyst Mr. Jide Ojo, for joining us on the News at 10 tonight. Thank you.